Recently, I was thinking about dance, and I love dancing. And um, dance is a funny thing for me because it's something that I really enjoy, and it's a bit unique in my experience because I enjoy it, and at the same time, I don't think I'm particularly good at it, but I enjoy it so much that I really don't care so much that I'm not very good at it, which is a good thing. I would say it's one of the healthiest things that I do. Um, but there are many ways that people dance. Um, but I would say at its core, very often, the impulse to dance is an impulse to move, an impulse to feel your body, and um, and to move in ways that feel good and that feel good in many ways. It might feel powerful, it might feel graceful or poised, it might feel playful. Um, it might be accessing a level of relaxation. But I love this aspect of dance that it's not just about aesthetic beauty, or it's not just about representation. Now, obviously, in a lot of dance, it is more about a presentation. But just when people get together to dance, like when you go to a dance or you go to a party, and you're just moving and dancing. Some people may have an awareness of other people and how they look, but many people, they're just in their experience and they're moving in a way that feels good because music makes us want to move. Um, and I think that's a really special experience. And it's not unique only to dance, but it is something that's so often there in dance. Now, when it comes to things like eating, again, um, very often we eat, obviously, we have to satisfy our hunger. But also we eat for pleasure. We eat for the experience of the food that we're having. And so like dance, it's about getting in touch with and enjoying our senses. And I would say in martial arts, there's movement. And I think in the beginning, there's this idea of a martial experience. And martial arts came out of the need for people to protect themselves and for martial context. And yet when you practice over the years, very often that may be part of the agenda, and it can bring a seriousness to it. But at the same time, I think anybody who really engages in a martial art for many, many years really enjoys engaging in movement and in their body and in being precise and learning to make more and more subtle distinctions. I think the same can be said for music very often. That music is one of these things that we do just because you get immersed in the experience of playing something that you like. I've played music most of my life, and I've taught very often. And one thing that I enjoy the most is when I see somebody playing a song just because they want to play it. I had dinner with a friend recently, and he said, "Oh, last night I was playing this song just because I wanted to play it." And I love that. So it's, you're sitting down and you're practicing something, but you're practicing it just because you want to have that experience. You want to experience the joy in that. So I'm bringing these things up because I think it's a really powerful orientation to do something just to have the experience and to enjoy the experience. And ironically, very often, this is when we're best at learning. because we are so in the experience that we're able to pay attention in a very deep way, and we're able to make more and more distinctions. Certainly after a certain point in my meditation practice, for me, I just enjoyed meditating. So I think very early on, I was trying to get it right. And if anything, some of that was complicated by somebody outlining what was supposed to happen when I was meditating. And then I would sit there and get worried that I wasn't doing it right. And so most of my meditation was spent in concern about not doing it right, or kind of daydreaming and then feeling bad about daydreaming because I wasn't doing it right, rather than just really enjoying my daydream, for example, which, you know, in my estimation, after these years, would have been more productive if being productive is what you're after. But so in some endeavors, we're going for, we might be trying to be productive, like, you know, you might write something for work or for school. And I was just, as I was thinking about dance, I was thinking it would be fun to just approach these things for fun. You know, what if I were doing writing just for fun, just to explore, just to have the experience of writing, to have the experience of writing in this moment and expressing whatever it was that I wanted to express. Certainly when I started learning NLP and coaching, for me, it was a very joyous experience because it was something that I had read about, and I couldn't wait to begin actually studying these things and practicing them. And I loved the fact that it was so experiential, and that I would get to try something and see how it went. And there was something in the way that the classes were set up that it wasn't about, again, getting it right. It wasn't about being graded. It was more about discovering what happened. So you would go and you would try something, and then you get to find out how did it work? How did it work in your experience? Or how did it work in the experience of somebody that you were working with or were coaching? And I think very often when I cook, I have that perspective. Usually I cook something because I want to see how it's going to come out and how I'm going to like it. And then that's the first thing. And then once I've sort of experimented with myself, at times I may want to share something that I've made that I think is pretty good. And I may want to share it with a friend and see what their response is. And it's really nice and festive to share an experience with somebody. And that's kind of a funny thing in dance too. It's like we like dancing together. It's an interesting thing. It's ritual when you think about it, that two or more people will get together and sort of face each other and dance. It's like a different form of experience or communication. You know, it sort of makes more sense on paper. You sit down and have a conversation, but it's very interesting that humans will get together on a dance floor and dance, and they may not touch or anything. And then of course there's ballroom dancing where you're dancing together, and you're actually spinning each other around. But it's very interesting to see people just dancing together. And again, I think at its core is this experience of what will this feel like and what will feel good. And sort of this experimentation state of mind of like, oh, I wonder what will happen if I try this. I wonder what that will feel like, or what that experience will be like. What will it be like if I spin around? What will it be like if I get really quiet for a moment and then all of a sudden expand? So it's this wonderful sensory experience that I think it's a sensory experience where we're driven by what we want to try out or experience. And I think it's a wonderful state of mind to bring all the different things that we do.